Wentzmania has finally arrived, but Doug, I don't know about that little zone read call there, pal. You got to get down, Carson. Get down. All right, so Carson Wentz makes his first NFL start tonight. 12 of 24, 89 yards with an interception. Would have helped if his receivers would have caught a couple balls. Mike Owens is here. I'm Adrian Fenke. We're here to recap day one, start one. Carson Wentz, the career, it's taking off. We're here.
Yeah, we're here. I mean, the Wentz era has started, and I'll tell you what, it didn't take long. Most of the fans in the stands tonight were, supporting Carson Wentz through T-shirts or jerseys, and you could tell right away that the fans wanted to see Carson Wentz, and it was obvious through the "We Want Carson" chants when Chase Daniel was on the field. Now, it may have been hard to see Chase Daniel because he's a midget, number one, and we had our second string offensive line in there, which was pretty bad. So, yeah, it was tough to see Chase Daniel because he was either getting sacked and he was laying on the ground or he was overthrowing receivers, and that's when the "We Want Wentz" chants really picked up. And then we finally got to see Wentz there at the end of the first half. But, I mean, really, everybody in the stands was just waiting for Wentz to get into the game in this first preseason game.
We got a little taste. And it was oh so sweet. It was like chewing on filet mignon. It was delicious. And I'll tell you what, the two throws that really stood out to me, his first completion, steps up into the pocket, beautifully, keeps his eyes downfield, hits Ertz perfectly. And then the other one, in the second half, it was a 3rd and 11. He recognizes the rusher immediately. He scrambles to his right and throws a perfect fucking strike on the move to who was it? Who was the guy who caught the ball? Was it Turner?
Turner.
Yeah, and so those are the two throws that stood out to me. There was another one. It was a 3rd and 2. He hit the tight end McFarland. Perfect ball placement on that. So overall, I thought the ball placement was pretty superb. He had a couple high ones there in the beginning, but he was pretty amped up. I mean, it was his first NFL start. So the ball placement was great. Showcased great recognition of the blitzes. I mean, I'm surprised Tampa Bay actually showed some blitzes tonight. So great on the move, accuracy on the move, good decision making. Had the one interception there where the heat kind of came in his face and he sailed the ball. But other than that, I mean, don't look at the stats. Don't look at the 12 and 24. There was like 3 or 4 drops tonight. He was really, really good, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, really impressive for a rookie in his first preseason game. And if you caught a glimpse of Hard Knocks, even if you didn't watch the whole thing, I'm sure you saw this on Twitter or any other social media outlet with Jared Goff and how he, was unsure of where the sun rises and where the sun sets. Well, I think it's pretty obvious after watching the first Eagles preseason game that Carson Wentz is pretty aware of where the sun rises and where the sun sets. And, Jared Goff has no idea. Jared Goff is fumbling snaps all over the place, in Hard Knocks. But with Carson Wentz, you saw he had a bad snap here in this preseason game. And, he was able to go on the fly and, pick the ball up, run out to his right, and, make the right move. I think he even completed a pass on this one. So really with Carson Wentz, what you saw is for a rookie, he's got great, the pocket awareness is really what stands out to me. And the other thing that stands out to me is he's got great control at the line of scrimmage. He could read where the blitzes were coming from, and he was able to, deliver the ball to where the blitz was coming from, pick up 6 or 7 yards on a play when maybe, a guy like Bradford or Chase Daniel is getting sacked on a play like that. So, for a rookie quarterback, first preseason game, Wentz did a really good job.
Not only a rookie quarterback, FCS quarterback. I mean, the game was supposed to be too fast for him, and look at him out there. I know he was playing in third quarter and shit, but still, he looked very impressive. Zip on his passes too, even when he was escaping the pocket. The other play that comes to mind in terms of his smarts, the ball goes right through his wickets. He picks it up, escapes the pocket, and throws the ball away. So very smart play there as well. Very, very, very impressed tonight. And I'll tell you what, man. I mean, I don't give a fuck about Sam Bradford. I understand why Wentz is not going to play, but I would start him from day one. I don't care. I don't see any promise of this team. I mean, Jesus Christ, these receivers tonight, without Jordan Matthews, nobody can gain separation. Nelson Aguilar, you're a piece of fucking shit. You don't block. You don't get any separation. You drop the ball. You can't even catch Wentz's first pass. I know it was high, but you got to catch the goddamn ball. I am getting sick of his ass. Josh Huff, the Hufflepuff, he can't hang on to the ball. What the hell is this shit? And then Ruben Randall, a guy who's pretty sure-handed, he has a case of the dropsies as well tonight. So TJ Graham dropped the ball too. Everybody dropped balls.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. If our offensive line was better and we weren't facing a 10-game suspension with Lane Johnson, I would probably say, go ahead, put Carson Wentz out there. Week 1, let's do it. But with the way our offensive line is right now, I mean, you saw the way that a reserve offensive line played. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, there was times tonight where we really had to hold our breath with Carson Wentz. But, I mean, he hopped right back up. And we know that if that was, if that was Sam Bradford taking the hits that Carson Wentz took, Sam Bradford would be out for the year. So, I guess that's a positive thing to look at with Carson Wentz is he can take the hits, he gets back up like a champion, and he's ready to go for the next play. So, for the future, that's a good thing. But right now, I don't think, anybody in Philadelphia is, going to be sad if, Sam Bradford goes out there and gets annihilated in week 1 and is out for the season.
Well, here's the thing, though, with the poor O-line play, because we saw this tonight, his ability to recognize the rusher. And Sam Bradford, he's going to sit there with that scary look on his face, one eyebrow raised over the other, and just take the sack. Wentz, meanwhile, he can escape the pocket, make plays out of nothing, obviously. We saw it tonight. And, I don't give a fuck about Sam Bradford. I don't care. Again, let me just reiterate this. I understand why they're sitting Wentz. I just wouldn't do it. I think he can learn on the fly. I think he has the wherewithal and the mental makeup to be able to handle himself if things go badly to start. I think he can do it. I got no problems with him playing right from the beginning. But, he looked a lot better than Chase Daniel did tonight.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. And I'll tell you what, I agree with you. I think that, after one preseason game from what I saw from Wentz, I think that if he can continue to improve on this performance, I think that after 4 preseason games, he would definitely be ready to go for week 1. I don't think that's what the Eagles are going to do, but I think that if something happened to Bradford where Bradford got hurt, Jesus Christ, I can't even imagine starting the season with Chase Daniel. So I think that Carson Wentz would definitely be the option. So, I'm with you. We know already. If you watch the game tonight, you know that this season is it's a waste. It's a scratch. We don't have any receivers, so you just start there. It doesn't matter. So I think you throw Carson Wentz in there. You let him get a year under his belt to really learn the system and learn the NFL, and then you really let him take off in year 2, 3, and year and beyond.
Let's talk about some of the positive sides tonight, because the first 2 drives, the offensive line looked really good. That was first team out there. Brandon Brooks was pushing people backwards, even though in limited playing time. But the guy who really stood out to me was Zach Ertz in the run blocking. This is something that people say, well, Zach Ertz can't block and all that shit. He's always been able to run block. You can definitely see the improvement this game. I mean, you don't see him making blocks in space the way he did tonight. You don't see that in the past. But he's always been a solid run blocker. Pass blocking is where he struggles. But the 3 tight end sets tonight, we saw a little bit of that, and the blocking was phenomenal. Ertzy, way to go, pal.
Yeah, well, I mean, this, especially that first team offense there, it was really like watching a Kansas City Chiefs game. I mean, everything that we kind of expected out of a Doug Peterson offense came to fruition with the 3 tight end sets. And I guess, like you said, Zach Ertz was really the biggest surprise because Zach Ertz has, throughout his NFL career, he's kind of been criticized a little bit for his blocking, but especially his run blocking in this game was really good. And I think if they can continue to get that out of Zach Ertz throughout the regular season, I think you're going to see a ton of 3 tight end sets this season, especially with the way our receivers played this game. I think you're going to see a lot of the running game, a ton of the running game, because no one can catch the ball on this team at the moment. So, and the way that, Ryan Matthews, we saw a very, very limited role from him. But from what we saw, it seemed like he was going to the right side a lot, and he was really utilizing that 3 tight end set. So I think you're going to see a lot of Ryan Matthews, and I think you're going to see a lot of that 3 tight end set, especially if Ertz can block the way he did.
Yeah, it was only, obviously a limited sample size, only a couple snaps really. But from what I saw, Matthews looked very decisive. He looked confident. He was picking the right holes. He looked pretty good, I thought. The blocking was pretty good as well. Matt Tobin had a nice down block, so he looked pretty good. He'll probably be your guy at right tackle with Lane Johnson's out. So I wanted to move on to Jalen Mills. Because this is the guy that's gotten a lot of hype during training camp, a lot of hype during the spring, and he struggled tonight. Now it's hard to tell too. I'm going to watch the tape because the way the angles are, it's tough to tell. But he had the one penalty. He had another one where it should have been called for a penalty. Got a little grabby with his hands. The ball was underthrown. He got burnt. And then you had the other one where got beat real bad on a comeback route. Then he takes a terrible angle to the ball carrier. To the receiver, and a flailing tackle attempt, which was just awful. So Mills struggled. He had a couple good plays as well, too. But this goes to the point of you can't judge what you read and what you see in training camp. You can't do it. It's a different animal once the lights are on bright. And this is only one game. So I'm not, here to, talk shit on the guy because there's obviously talent here. But this comes to the point of you got to temper your expectations with rookies.
Yeah, and from what I took away from this game is that I think that Jalen Mills has the talent to maybe potentially be a starter in this league, but right now he's just not there. I mean, this guy. I mean, people, we have to remember now. This guy was a 7th round draft pick. Yeah, maybe he should have been picked higher because he had some off the field issues, but still. He was a 7th round pick in this year's draft. He's not going to come in and make an impact right away. So, in training camp, guys can do whatever. They can be outstanding. But once you get to the game, it's a different story. It's a different type of speed. It's NFL. This isn't, college anymore. Even though he played at LSU, it doesn't matter. This is the NFL. It's a different animal. But what I like from Jalen Mills is he was aggressive. He got some penalties. So he's out there. He's trying to make plays, and I like that from him. So we'll see how he progresses here throughout the rest of the preseason games. But, I think that possibly, I think he's definitely going to make the team. And I think that you can see him to start to get some playing time, maybe in the second half of the season, or depending on what happens with injuries throughout the season. But I think that, Jalen Mills has some promise, but we really need to temper our expectations. The guy was a 7th round draft pick, so we'll see what he can do. But, I mean, he did struggle a bit tonight, but hey, he's a rookie.
Yeah, he struggled, and that's what's expected out of a cornerback. It's very tough for a cornerback to make that transition from college to the pros. Probably the toughest position besides probably quarterback. So Jalen Mills, growing pains. That's all it is. And I really think he will be a starter by next year. Maybe we'll see, because I don't think Noel Carroll will be back, and then McKelvin. We'll see about that. So I can see Mills starting. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of playing time like that first half of the year. So I agree with you. Maybe we could see him some more as the second half of the year comes along. We shall see. Eric Rowe, he had one play where he looked real bad, got turned around like a top. But he had another play too where when he gets to play press, he looks a lot better because he obviously he's physical type of cornerback, so he gets to press the line of scrimmage. Then he can go and turn and run with the receiver. Where he really struggles is when he kind of gets in off coverage and he's got to flip his hips around because he's very stiff-hipped. If that's even a word, I don't know. But his hips are stiff. They're really stiff. And he got turned around that one play. But I'm going to have to look at the tape because it's very difficult from that angle. So for PhillyInfluencer.com, I will be doing a post about 2 or 3 days from now on Jalen Mills. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, with Eric Rowe, it's really tough to tell because you go back and, I mean, even last season, he struggled tremendously in training camp and throughout the preseason. So, and we didn't really see too much of him tonight, so it was kind of hard to get a read on him until we really see the game tape. But I'm still rowing with Rowe down the Schuylkill River. If I'm the Eagles, I would start him this season. I mean, this is a guy that you spend a second-round draft pick on. Not only did you spend a second-round draft pick on, you actually moved up to get him. So I think that you got to give him a shot. He definitely showed potential last season. Even that game against the Lions last season when Billy Davis threw him on an island against Calvin Johnson, people always criticize him for that game. But I actually applaud him for that game because he actually had decent coverage against Calvin Johnson. But, I mean, there's not too much when you're one-on-one against Calvin Johnson, and he's just doing Calvin Johnson things. So with Eric Rowe, I would like to give him a shot this year, see what he can do. I mean, really, with our options right now, he's probably one of the better options that we have at cornerback. So we'll see what the future holds. But, I'm still rowing down the river with Rowe here for this season.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, move him to safety, but that doesn't make any sense. You got Malcolm Jenkins and Roddy McLeod. You're not going to do that. So at least not yet, maybe. But I'm a big Rowe guy, though, so I like him a lot. You got to utilize him correctly. He's a press corner. He's a press guy. You got to let him be physical and do those sort of things. When he's got to flip his hips and all that shit, that's not his strength. So, I mean, like Mike Mayock was saying tonight, I love Mayock, by the way. Oh, bless his heart. I love that he's on the coverage. But, yeah, he struggles when the receiver reaches that top of his route and he changes direction. And that's where Rowe struggles. That's, it's always been his weakness.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we even saw it last preseason. That's what he struggled with. Still struggling with it a bit. So we'll see if he can work on that. But with Rowe, it seems like he's always kind of struggled with picking up a new system at first. He had to learn a new system last year, again this year with Jim Schwartz. So we'll see how he picks it up. But, let's wait till the regular season gets here and see how Rowe does before we really judge him.
Yeah, long season. I mean, Jesus. I remember the Jets game last year, and Rowe was just getting picked on every single snap. I was like, oh, man. This is awful. I wasn't expecting anything from Rowe during that rookie year. And then like the last 4 games, he was lights out. He was unbelievable. So patience, people, and patience with Jalen Mills as well. So I don't want you guys to get your panties in a bunch just because he struggled tonight. It doesn't mean anything. It's one preseason game. So 2 other guys who really struggled tonight, Isaac Seumalo and God damn it, Halapulu Vatai. Fuck it, Big V, Big Daddy V. I'll just call him Big Daddy V. So there were a couple plays where the defensive ends, they were bending the corner on Vaitai, and he was unable to push the rusher past the quarterback. So he was literally struggling in pass protection. Seumalo looked awful. It was terrible, especially in pass protection. Guys were just slicing right through him. There was one play where he had his back to a rusher because he tried to help out with the tackle. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. I'll have to rewatch that play because I was just like, what the fuck is this? So you spent a third-round rookie on this guy. Hopefully he shows a little bit more in his next game. I literally didn't see one positive thing out of him tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the tough part with Seumalo is I think he didn't arrive, wasn't able to practice until later because of the academic rules or whatever with college. So he kind of had a late start. So he's kind of working behind the 8 ball here. And for a rookie, that's tough, especially for, a third-round pick, offensive lineman, tough to deal with. So with him, I mean, you hope that he's going to improve throughout the season, but I really don't think that we're going to see him until the second half of the year. Hopefully we don't have to see him on the field at all, but the way with how the injuries are going, we're probably going to have to see him. Big V, that guy, he's a guy you want to sit on the sideline this year. You don't even want to see him playing. If he has to play at all this season, that means that we're in major trouble at the tackle position. He's pretty much a last resort at this point. And when you spend like a 5th-round pick on a tackle, he's definitely a guy that you're stockpiling for the future. He may have a bright future. We really don't know at this point. But after one preseason game, it's obvious that he was a 5th-round draft pick.
You know who I thought played pretty well tonight? Josh Andrews, third-string center. He had a one block in the running game. I forget who ran the ball, but he just pancaked the guy, literally to the ground along the sideline. That was unbelievable. I'll have to. Yeah, I don't remember when that was, but he looked pretty good tonight. And you know who else looked pretty good tonight? Mr. Grimes, CFL guy. He looked pretty good. And C.J. Smith, Wentz's teammate at North Dakota State. I thought he had some nice pass breakups in the second half.
Yeah, well, it's ironic that you thought that Andrews did well because, we had an offensive lineman that did well, then he got hurt. So, yeah, shocking.
Yeah.
So that I don't know we don't know how serious that injury is yet, but out of all the injuries that happened tonight, that Andrews injury looked like it was the most severe. So, hopefully he's all right considering the way the rest of our second string and third string offensive linemen played. But yeah, not good there. But yeah, like you said, the other guys played well too. Really, I guess the biggest thing that I wanted to see from this game is how is our first string defense going to look, especially that first string, defensive line, because that was a big thing with Swartz, getting after the quarterback. Are we going to be able to get after the quarterback with this new 4-3 system? And I got to say, I was impressed. Fletcher Cox, Benny Logan, I think that those two guys inside, they're going to be a force to be awakened with. Those guys are unbelievable. And I think that really Benny Logan is a guy to watch out for because I think Fletcher Cox is going to generate a lot of attention. And you saw tonight that when Benny Logan just gets a one-on-one, coverage there, he's going to beat his man. He's going to get to the quarterback. So I was definitely impressed with our defensive line. And really what you saw tonight, we scored all of our points off of turnovers. And I think that's going to be the theme for the whole season is our defense is really going to carry the team.
Yeah, Benny Logan had the one strip sack there. That was he got real low. He got out of his stance real quick, got real low, so was able to get a lot of leverage and went right to the quarterback. Brandon Graham had a couple nice run stuffs where he was fighting through the tackle, going down the line. and making tackles. I thought he had a pretty good game as well. Now, this is a second or third stringer, but Steven Means. Steven Means made some plays. I'm going to keep an eye on him the rest of the preseason. He had that one play where he was lined up as the right defensive end, spins and then gets to the quarterback, forces the interception from Chris Maragos. That was really impressive. Like, just the balance and the quickness of that spin got right to the quarterback.
Yeah, no, definitely. I saw that too. So he's definitely a guy to keep an eye out through the rest of the training camp. But really along, that the whole defensive line, it's really the strength on this team because we're so deep. I mean, you can bring in guys like Bo Allen and Mike Martin as reserves. You saw tonight what a guy like Bo Allen can do. He can get in the backfield and really, cause some disturbance. So I really like our depth along the defensive line. And, you kind of saw that our cornerbacks struggled at a bit of times tonight. So really the strength of our team and really what the strength of a Jim Schwartz defense is having the defensive line get after the quarterback, cause the pressure, cause turnovers, and really take the pressure off of the secondary.
Let's talk about Chase Daniel just a little bit because I don't want to get on him too much because the offensive line was so putrid. It affected him. I mean, but his accuracy was not there. A lot of high throws. So balls were sailing. Wentz definitely looked a lot better than he did.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, when we signed Chase Daniel to all that money, I was not a happy camper because yeah, it was way too much money for a backup quarterback. I know that he has the experience with Doug Peterson in Kansas City. He knows the system, but at the same time, with the way the Eagles have kind of unfolded this plan here, with Wentz being the future of this team, we know that this season that Bradford's going to be the guy, but next season it's I think it's pretty obvious after the night that Wentz is the man from there on out. So the whole Chase Daniel thing doesn't make any sense. I mean, honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I would rather have Mark Sanchez as a backup quarterback than Chase Daniel, especially with the amount of money that we're paying Chase Daniel with the way he performed tonight.
I'm not going to answer that question right now. I'm not going to. Oh, man. Hey, I'll definitely take Carson. I'll tell you that. Carson over everybody. Carson over all. Fuck yeah. 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 Fuck you, Jared Goff. You're such an idiot. Oh, boy. All right. Let's see. Anybody else you want to talk about? Am I missing anybody?
No, let's see. I guess the other thing, I mean, you kind of mentioned this before, but I think that tonight I kind of just clarified that the Josh Huff era has come to an end in Philadelphia. I mean, this guy, every time he does something good, it has to end in a horrible disaster. He makes a catch, and then he fumbles, and it's just like, come on, man. Can't you do anything good? So, yeah, Josh Huff, he's going to make the team because we really don't have that much depth behind him at wide receiver. But, Jesus Christ, I wish he didn't make the team because I know that it's guaranteed that somehow throughout the season he's going to make so many bonehead moves, and we're just going to want to kill him.
He is the most frustrating player on this team because he'll take a slant pass and he could take it 60 yards to the house. And then the very next fucking play, he's fumbling the ball like he did tonight. The Hufflepuff. I can't stand him. I hate him more than anybody on this team, even more than Sam Bradford. I can't stand it. And Aguilar's starting to come right there with him. Fucking Aguilar, man. Oh, my God. I loved him coming out of college. I'm like, oh, man, the crisp route running and the hands and he looks so quick after the catch. Oh, I could see why I'm not a scout. Jesus, fuck, he's terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's great too because with Mike Mayock, he keeps it real, and
Like
Mayock,
the greatest fucking thing on earth.
with Mayock, I wish this guy could announce the Eagles games throughout the whole regular season because it's great entertainment, it's great knowledge. He knows what he's talking about. He's passionate about the Eagles, and he's just like us. He knows when a guy is not giving it his all. He knows when a guy should be blocking. And with Aguilar, the one wide receiver screen pass Aguilar, they didn't even care the block. So Aguilar, and then he's got out there dropping passes, even though they're a little bit high. Yeah, I mean, dude, you were a first round pick. You got to make that catch. This is the NFL. So I think that out of all the guys on the team tonight, I would say that Aguilar was the most disappointing. And heading into this season, that's not very encouraging considering that we're not expecting many wins with the receivers that we have.
Dude, Jordan Matthews is out. This is his chance to fucking shine, to make an impact, to show that you can flash, you can make some plays out there. That last year might have been a little bit of a fluke. People were making the excuses for him last year. Well, he's playing with a high ankle sprain. That fucking ankle ain't sprained no more. It's not sprained no more. He still can't get separation. He's fucking awful. Are you kidding me with this guy? Like, I don't know who's worse, him or Huff.
I mean, jeez. I mean, honestly, at this point, it might be Aguilar. I mean, at least Huff catches the ball. I know that he fumbles afterwards, but at this point, Aguilar can't even catch the ball. So it's really disappointing right now. And this is why, this Matthews injury right now is tough to take because you watch this game tonight and you realize that if Jordan Matthews is not out there at wide receiver for even a game this season, the Eagles are going to struggle tremendously because they do not have any options at wide receiver. And if it's Sam Bradford or Chase Daniel in the game at quarterback, especially with the makeshift offensive line, we're in very deep trouble.
Yeah, if you want to get drunk, play the coverage sack game. Anytime the receivers don't get open, every time there's a fucking coverage sack, take a shot. You'll be done by fucking halftime.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like, especially with Bradford or Daniel. I mean, those guys, they just and Daniel is a guy who can, has a little bit more mobility than Bradford. But when you see Wentz come in the game, you can see how much more athleticism he has than Bradford and Daniel. I mean, Wentz, guys weren't getting open, but he was able to escape the pocket. He was able to run a little bit, and he was able to, make plays happen on the fly. And that's like really things you don't get from Bradford and Daniel.
Yeah. All right. I think it's about time. Final thoughts time. What do you say? What do you got to say?
Final thoughts. I guess it's, what I expected, really.
Yeah.
Our defense is going to carry us this season. I will say that I was impressed with the first string defense, especially the defensive line. I was a huge fan, Schwartz hiring him, but I wasn't really, drinking the Kool-Aid until I saw this game. And after watching this game, I think that if you have everybody healthy on that first string defense, I think that they can get into being a top 10 defense in the NFL. So if you want to, look at the positive side, I would say that the defense, that's what you got to look at. They're really going to carry us this season. And if they can create, like 3 turnovers in a game, then we have a chance to win some games. and I mean, maybe possibly even go after a division, how bad our offense is. But the problem is with our schedule, they're not going to be able to do that and sustain it throughout a whole season. And on the offensive side of the ball, really, the wide receivers are a lot worse than I thought they were. After watching this game, we have the worst wide receivers in the whole NFL, and that's a huge concern going into a season.
Yeah, we had the worst ones last year, and they got worse. So, yeah, I'm going to finish with Aguilar here. Last year, during his introductory press conference, he had his famous quote where he said, "Maintaining is a form of regression." I didn't think he could regress any further than he did last year, but this first game, you were fucking putrid. He was 121 out of 121 on Pro Football Focus's wide receiver list last year. And by God, he might have regressed. Jesus fucking Christ, Nelson. You better bring it. You got to bring it, okay? I know it's your second year, but I'm like this close, dude. This close. I'm already done with the Hufflepuff. Show me something next week. That's all I got to say. For Mike Owens, I'm Adrian Fedque. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. A recap of the game is going to be coming out tomorrow morning. I'm going to go watch the game again right now. So I'm going to go check out a couple things. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Later.
Later.